Good morning. It's Friday, April 3rd, 2015. This is Tech Talk Today, episode 153. Man, it feels good to be Friday. It's Friday. Oh, it feels so good. And you know why? You know why it feels so good? Because Ange is in studio. Hey,
here
Ange.
I am. Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was thinking about, do you think it would be crazy to do, from time to time, I like to experiment with the Friday format.
Okay.
We haven't done it for a few weeks. I'm not doing it today.
Okay.
Let's do hey, Ange, can we have a quick meeting right here on air? Just a quick team meeting.
Oh, my goodness.
What do you think about soliciting cool Creative Commons music mixes from the audience?
Absolutely.
And then doing like a Friday music news show where we play music. I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to lie. I was listening to Adam Curry's Daily Source Code, and it is so awesome. The audience would submit him music, and then he would do it. And he stopped doing the show, and I just thought it was such a cool daily show. And I, for a very short period of time, had the audience sending me music that I was putting on the Jupiter radio. And it just became a lot for me. I was like, oh, God, this became a job all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really continue soliciting it. But then I started thinking if we wanted to play with the Friday format from time to time and maybe do like a little music, little news, all that kind of stuff, it'd be pretty cool. Anyways,
yeah.
Those of you familiar maybe with the Daily Source Code kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. It was a pretty cool show, and it was one of the proto podcasts, really. It's not really easy to find it online anymore, but there's BitTorrent syncs out there and things like that. Anyways, Before we get into the news, we got to do one more bit of... so if you want to do that, I should probably mention this part.
Yes.
Should they email... What? Email me directly, don't you think?
Maybe I'll make a drop-down. No.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know.
Maybe they could email you.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
I think that'd be good.
Angela at jupiterbroadcasting.com. If you would like to make us a music mix, something that would be a few minutes long.
Yep.
Creative Commons, it's okay to play on the air.
Right.
And if you want to make something really long and put it together and have it mix, we could do that too. We just have to have spots where we could come in and out and talk with the audience because we don't want to have it all music.
And bonus points to anybody that incorporates really awesome sound bites of the various hosts on Jupiter Broadcasting.
Whoa.
I'd love to hear, like, from some of the inappropriate faux shows, some of the things that we've said in there.
This could be really cool. You think this could happen?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. It's a lot of work. I've done a mix together.
But I was surprised
before.
Last time we had somebody send some... It was really cool. So I'd love to do that. So Angela at jupiterbroadcasting.com. You could also probably do the subreddit, techtalktoday.reddit.com. All right, So we got a few news stories to get into, so let's bring in our Mumble Room. Time-appropriate greetings, Mumble Room.
Hello. Appropriate greetings. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hello there. So let's start with some good news for us Android users. Google says that in 2014 they cut Android malware in half. Actually, you know what? I have specifically noticed a decline in Android malware stories too. So here we go. Here's the numbers that we have so far. A new report says that the global rate of harmful software installs fell by 50%. That's a huge deal over the course of 2014. By Google's accounting, only 1% of Android devices, only 1%, had harmful applications installed in 2014. And when those devices only installed applications from Google Play Store, that number fell to 0.15%.
Wow.
Those are pretty broad numbers based on Google's own definition of potentially harmful applications, but Google's also offering a 44-page report for those seeking more details. Now, this is difficult for me because I think this is extremely good news. At the same time, I think it's sort of whitewashing a larger Android issue, and that is the actual vulnerabilities in the lower levels of the operating system that could be exploited over the network. And things like that.
What you mean? So they're like covering it up by talking about apps?
Yeah, they're making it sound like the only vector for vulnerabilities on Android is installing a bad app.
Right.
That's a little disingenuous.
Yes,
in my
it
opinion.
is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's sort of like, look over here.
Yeah, right.
This is something we can manage.
Yeah, don't worry about the other hand.
Yeah, I can't get that carrier and that OEM to update your year-old phone with a patched kernel, but I can patch your Play Store.
Right.
Yeah. Mumble Room, thoughts? So I'll give you an example. The report doesn't mention Android's recent WebView vulnerability, which is affecting Android phones running Jelly Bean or older. So if you have a phone that runs Android Jelly Bean or older, which is about somewhere, I believe, in the 20% margin of all Android phones currently active, but I may have that number might be a little old. Either way, there is a vulnerability baked into that version of Android that is not being patched. Somewhere around 20% of Android phones have this vulnerability. And it doesn't even matter if you're using a different browser, because if the app you're using has a web view embedded in the app, which tons of them do, you're vulnerable still. And Google has declined to patch this. Again, that's not in their 44-page report.
Right. Definitely.
That's not too good.
Yeah. So it's good news, but we have to take it with at least a nice dose of reality too.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering if the decline of Android reporting malware decreased as people were attacking Apple products instead. Like if maybe just there's a focus shift and they're
maybe that's a part of it too.
Taking advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see them kind of sort of. Going after iOS. Seems like there'd be incentive to go after iOS users because it seems like there's often more money over there. Right? Seems like they usually... Yeah, so I don't know.
It's kind of crazy, though, because I know a lot of people that have Android lately.
Yeah.
It's really weird, actually.
Well, it's...
I still know a lot that have an iPhone, but the more of the people that I see in person have Android.
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes down to cost, right?
No.
In most cases.
No, Android phones are $500 or $600, just like iPhones.
The nice ones?
Well,
see, here's the thing. There's only nice iPhones. And then there's all ranges, like PCs, right? There's nice PCs and crappy PCs, right? So, and like we both, that one gal who's like, I pay for my data, so I'm never paying for an app.
I know,
right?
Oh my gosh.
That's the kind of user.
She would never survive this business where we pay for the hosting, the moving, everything of data. Anybody that downloads our shows, we pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. She's probably the type of user that's on Jelly Bean too, where she's got this vulnerable version.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's just kind of a growing pain of a new platform, and unfortunately, it's one that kind of puts users in the risk. But since these phones don't last too long, we'll eventually get on newer devices, and newer devices are better off. So this is kind of good news for me, at least. I don't know about if it's good news for you.
Whatever.
Netflix has announced that House of Cards will be back for a 4th season. I just thought that's kind of worth noting because this is really, I think, the first big internet television show.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know.
I mean, there's been others.
Yeah.
But this is like. I mean, there's been lots of others, but this is like the first.
Yeah, wasn't Arrested Development the first?
No, House of Cards came out before. House of Cards was Netflix's first original production that we had here in the U.S. at least.
Oh, okay.
And so they only do them in 13-episode runs, but I really enjoy House of Cards. Anybody in the mobile room been watching House of Cards?
I haven't.
Nope.
You guys should check it out. It's actually pretty good. I know it's got politics, but it's not too bad. It's not bad at all. And Kevin Spacey makes a good president. All right, and then today, I believe I might be wrong, but the 3rd of April marks the 5th anniversary of the iPad.
Wow.
Did you know?
Wait, so mine is the one that Abby uses is 4 years old then?
5 years old, isn't that an iPad 1? Yeah, it's definitely an iPad 1.
Yeah. I think it was the second round. I don't know. Huh.
I don't know when we got it, but...
Yeah. Wow.
It's old. Yeah. Yeah, so the first iPad came out in 2010. Apple sold 14.8 million iPads in that first year. And that's when everybody was like, oh my God, the PC is dead. Apple has sold more than 250 million iPads, making it the fastest selling product in the company's history.
And the biggest contributor to landfills. Well, I just
675,000
I mean, I know
apps.
Basically what happens is, people, they give it to other people or sell it or whatever. So it ends up getting to other people, but I just still imagine a lot being...
I think they need to do something. I think they need to shake it up. They need to come up with like a big iPad or something. I don't know what they got to do, but the analysts expect that the iPad will only grow 2.1% this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's not much more they can do. They can't make it much thinner. They can't make it more Retina display. They can't, well,
I have a couple ideas. So 2.1% growth this year, just to put that in comparison. When the iPad was new, from 2010 to 2011, it had a 294% growth rate.
Wow.
So it's gone from 294% to 2.1%. So they need to sell some more.
I wonder if that 2%, though, is a higher number than that 294%.
Oh, maybe, because of the total volume.
Right.
Yeah, it could be. And definitely because now they're shipping worldwide versus only in the U.S. and Canada when that thing first launched, and then the U.K. a little bit later.
Right.
So I think here's what they're going to do. Maybe they could go bigger. They could go...
bigger screen.
Some people said 12 inches, I don't know.
I'd like 12 inches.
Force touch. Force touch
I'd like Force touch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What else? Yeah.
That's all going in there. Yeah, I'm telling you, they'll sell some more, but it's not going to be a big deal. It's not gonna be nuts. Hey, before we run, I wanted to make a quick app pick. I've talked about it a little bit before. Since I haven't had a chance to do a health update for a little while, my favorite tool through this process has been Sleep as Android, an amazing sleep tracking application which also correlates with ambient temperature in your room, light, and noise, and it'll give you graphs to bring it all together, so you can see when you were in deep sleep versus light sleep, and when you were snoring, and if you farted, you can go back and play that.
Yep. In fact, go see the recent faux show.
Yeah.
Awkward things.
Yeah.
I watched that.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Or if you're doing other things, it'll record that too.
Yeah.
And you can save them for later. It's nice. Then you also can integrate it with Android Wear or a Pebble Watch, so it can use the sensors in your Wear device to track your movement to get better, accurate sleep tracking. It can also then wake you up when you're sort of in the right zone, depending on when you want to get up. So it'll monitor your sleep. When you're in light sleep, it'll wake you up then, so you get up a little nicer, a little fresher, a little easier. And it also has a nice escalating alarm that can buzz your wrist, so that way you don't have to wake up your significant other. It'll just buzz your wrist. Then you can also pause it from your watch when you get up or stop the tracking. Now get this.
Oh my goodness.
You ready for this?
Yes.
This should be an ad. They should be paying me for this.
I was going to wrap this up. I will wrap this up. Okay. But
right.
Go ahead.
So get this. It now integrates with these Hue lights.
Oh.
So it uses like the watch, for example, to sense when you get up, and you can have it set to turn on P light mode, because these can be just dimmed very
Right.
faintly. So it'll turn on the Hue lights faintly to light your pathway to the toilet, and then when you get back in bed, it automatically turns them off.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's a bit much.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, that's not a paid ad, but this kind of is. You can support the show by going to patreon.com/today.
Hey-o!
For as little as $3 a month. Actually, I think you could even do less than that.
Oh,
You could do more than that too.
Hey-o! Oh man, I thought we'd get to 470.
Yeah. So we have 469 supporters.
Oh, come on. So close. So close. All right.
It's working.
Hey, you want to do a Kickstarter of the week? Because it's a cute one.
Yeah.
You ready? This one's adorable. It's our Kickstarter. All right. So this one is, it's here in our own backyard.
Okay.
And it is, or I guess Portland, Oregon. It's a project to make video glasses. So people have a hard time seeing that need to have glasses that can do like zoom and stuff like that. And it's, well, you'll
for video editing? Or...
for like impaired vision or things like that. Here, you know what? I'll just play the video and you can see, because the video's kind of adorable.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Christopher Riki, and the goal of my Kickstarter project is to make a pair of video glasses for people with impaired vision. To accomplish this, I will be using a Raspberry Pi to control the contrast and zoom of the video so that the end user has full control over what they see. Because these glasses will have to be worn for most of the day, they will be as lightweight as possible. They will also be using the most current technology to ensure that the end product is both high quality and easy to use. The end product will have a small camera mounted to the top of the glasses and a wired control box with the Raspberry Pi and control buttons inside. Luckily for me, I have a perfect test subject, my grandmother, who has macular degeneration, also known as AMD. Thanks for believing in my Kickstarter project.
There you go.
Oh.
Isn't that kind of adorable?
Well, I was hoping that there would be like a little bit more of an explanation.
So
I don't get it. Like, so, but does it? Is it? Ugh.
The video signal is transmitted to a microcomputer mounted in a small box with a lightweight battery pack that has a belt clip that can comfortably be worn around your wrist. The microcomputer will allow control of the zoom and contrast of the glasses. So that way you can have glasses that are sort of like video glasses that, you know, if you need things to be higher contrast, you can see them easier or zoom the image.
So it's not for gaming.
No, it's for like impaired vision or
like
his grandma.
And scroll up. So the glasses are like they're flexy.
They're kind of almost look
solid.
like they almost look like ski glasses.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he's got 11 backers who have pledged $4,726.
11 backers have pledged that much money? Wow.
If this is a thing that actually works out well, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of neat.
I think, I wonder if Google Glass is going to have some problems with that since it's going to have a camera mounted to it. But
I think it's neat that this guy's doing this, and it seems like a pretty good project for somebody his age. I picture like our son Dylan doing this, and like in like 8 years or something like that. Could you see him who's like want to do a Kickstarter video and all that? So that's just adorable. If you'd like to help this get out, we'll have a link in the show notes for Magna Glass, electronic glasses for medical and personal use.
I wonder how it would help me out. You know? Like, would I rather wear those glasses than these glasses?
I don't know. Maybe it'd be easier to read. I don't know. It's a good question, Miss Andrews. It's a good question.
I wonder if it could eliminate the need for bifocal.
Huh.
You know? Because I don't have bifocals yet, but I probably will at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking down your nose at me all the time then?
No. No, I'd be looking on the upper part. The bifocal, the bottom part is for glass reading. But right now I have to take off my glasses in order to look at my cell phone, which is weird.
All right, so it is the 5th anniversary of the iPad. It's a little bit of a long clip, but I thought for you, since you're a fan, we would do the original introduction. This is a hyper cut, I believe, because the original introduction was like an hour long.
Wow.
So this is a cut down version of Steve Jobs' introduction of the iPad. The other reason I find this clip to be memorable is this is sort of his last healthy introduction.
Right.
I used to watch all the Jobs ones just, because that's what you'd do. And this was sort of the last time he felt super great. In fact, if I recall, there was some concern he wouldn't even have been able to make it to this one. His health was starting to give him troubles at this time. But it was really the iPad 2 where he almost didn't make it, and then he just happened to show up and do it. During the iPad 2 introduction, his health was so bad, he wore snow pants under his jeans, so that way people couldn't tell how skinny he was.
Wow.
Yeah. And he still looked horribly skinny.
Yeah, I remember.
So this was really, this was sort of one of Steve's last bests, and it's kind of neat to watch somebody. And when he's up on stage, you can watch how he's almost like he's just controlling the crowd. I mean, the guy was really amazing at this. The reality distortion field was real, and you can see how he created it with this clip. See you back here next week on Tuesday. Make the show better throughout the weekend. techtalktoday.reddit.com. Bye, everybody. Love you.
So now let's get to the main event. I chuckled when I saw this.
Last time there was this much excitement about a tablet, it had commandments written on it. And this is because there's so many rumors leading up to this.
But before we get to that, I want to go back to 1991, when Apple announced and shipped its first PowerBooks. This was the first modern laptop computer. Apple actually invented the modern laptop computer with these PowerBooks. It was the first laptop that had a TFT screen, the first modern LCD screens. It was the first laptop that pushed the keyboard up, creating palm rests, and had an integrated pointing device, in this case a trackball. Well, of course, almost 20 years later, we've got incredible laptops now. Just a few years ago, in 2007, Apple reinvented the phone with the iPhone. And a few years later, we've got the great iPhone 3GS, the best phone in the world. And so all of us use laptops and smartphones now. Everybody uses a laptop and or a smartphone. And the question has arisen lately, is there room for a third category of device in the middle? Something that's between a laptop and a smartphone. And of course, we've pondered this question for years as well. The bar is pretty high. In order to really create a new category of devices, those devices are going to have to be far better at doing some key tasks. They're going to have to be far better at doing some really important things. Better than the laptop, better than the smartphone. What kind of tasks? Well, things like browsing the web. That's a pretty tall order. Something that's better at browsing the web than a laptop? Okay. Doing email. Enjoying and sharing photographs. Video. Watching videos. Enjoying your music collection. Playing games. Reading ebooks. If there's going to be a third category of device, it's going to have to be better at these kinds of tasks than a laptop or a smartphone. Otherwise, it has no reason for being. Now, Some people have thought that that's a netbook. The problem is, netbooks aren't better at anything. They're slow, they have low-quality displays, and they run clunky old PC software. So they're not better than a laptop at anything, they're just cheaper. They're just cheap laptops. And we don't think that they're a third-category device. But we think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad. So, let me show it to you now. This is what it looks like. I happen to have one right here. That's what it looks like. Very thin. Looks just like this. So, just give you a little overview. It's very thin. And you can change the background screen, the home screen, to personalize it any way you want. People put their own photos on it, I'm sure, but we ship a few, and you can make it anything you want. And what this device does is extraordinary. You can browse the web with it. It is the best browsing experience you've ever had. It's phenomenal to see a whole web page right in front of you, and you can manipulate with your fingers. It's unbelievably great. Way better than a laptop. Way better than a smartphone. And you can turn iPad any way you want. Up, down, sideways. It automatically adjusts however you want to use it.